The advice presented in this broadcast is intended for entertainment purposes only. It should be assumed that the panelists are not experts in any topic that may arise. Yes, including that one. Be advised at your own risk.
Oh, well, hello there, friends. Thanks for joining us today. This is the show Questionable Advice, where we're going to give you in the audience the advice that you definitely need in your life right now. What's going to happen is you can go ahead and put in the comments things that you need advice on. It can be any topic, whether it's family, friends, love, pets, snacks, whatever you want. And I've brought together a group of friends that are going to give you advice. Some of the advice is actually going to be really useful and you might want to take it away. Some of the advice is why we have a disclaimer in the first place. Because, things are not always great. So go ahead at any time, put your advice topics in the comments. And the friends I have brought here today are going to help you out. Here's the group we brought together today.
Well, here they are. There you go.
We have Sarah, Greg, and Nick. Hello.
Cheers.
Oh, this is an audio medium. I forgot that too. Okay, yeah, you can see.
We all look at us. Bunch of booze hounds here.
I feel like that's how you get the best advice when you've shut down your inhibitions. You're just ready to say what's on your mind.
Yep.
Earlier this evening, if anyone wants this piece of advice, might be, do you like rosé? Stay away from Snoop Dogg's rosé. Do you hate rosé? Drink plenty of Snoop Dogg's rosé. You'll be fine.
Wow.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so Brian's here doing tech. He's going to put up the comments and get your suggestions.
We have a great new feature on eCam where I can search for certain words. So if you have a question that you'd like to ask our panelists tonight, put the word question and then ask your question next to it. And then that way all I have to do is search for question and all of your questions come up, which is a pretty handy new thing.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
And also, I did have Snoop Dogg's rosé, and it is terrible. So I completely agree with Greg. It is so gross, but I had to buy it because it was Snoop Dogg's rosé. So,
Right. I have a friend in the wine industry. He referred to it as a porch pounder.
a porch pounder? What's a porch pounder?
Your mom's. Oh, sorry, Rose.
Okay, I deserve that.
Well, it's like I learned in my college sorority days, if the booze tastes bad, you just drink it faster.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm aware of Mad Dog 2020. That's what we used to drink. Terrible, but you gotta just
Somehow
do it.
everything tastes better mixed with 7-Up or Squirt, too.
Oh, well, that's good advice.
Yeah. Okay, so while people are putting their topics in the comments, I also posted on Facebook, and I got, as always, Sarah and Evan gave us some great things. So we got plenty of stuff to pull from, but we could always use more, and we want to help you live in the audience. But let's get started with something easy that I already got on my handy-dandy list. How do we help Sarah keep her houseplants alive?
Well, as someone who can't keep houseplants alive myself, but is married to someone who can, couple things. One, when things start to wilt and die, cut them off. Get rid of the dying parts, and then more of the plant's energy, the dirt energy. What do you call it? The carbon excitement from the dirt will go to this blooming new things and regenerating things that are not quite dead yet. So that's one thing. Trimming dead stuff away really helps. Watering also helps. And then maybe going to a hardware store and getting one of those little things of like indoor plant fertilizer, just giving it a little sprinkle and just kind of sticking that in with it. If you got it, use a fork. Whatever you can.
Nice.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you have a dog, like this little unruly one next to me, they're gonna mess up everything, every living thing in your house, including the plants. They're gonna throw their ball into the plants. They're gonna mess up your monstera. The leaves are gonna fall off. So reconsider having a dog. Maybe take him to the pound. Yeah, you're going to the pound, Ruth. Did you know that? He's wagging his tail.
I hear the pound is totally short on dogs, so they need more dogs.
Yeah, I don't own any house plants, and that's for a reason. They're as the question. Sarah asked the question. I forgot that part. They're hard to keep alive, and there's tons of them. So if one dies, even if it's a little brown, instead of cutting it, you could just throw the whole plant away. And there's plenty more at so many nurseries and hardware stores. And I think they use GMOs and stuff to make so many of them because they're so popular. So I just wouldn't support the industry at all.
Nice. Okay, I think we got some great help there with some plants. Yeah, I'm also a plant killer, so we got nothing.
But Nick has opened up a whole door to teach us about the horribly exploitative houseplant industry. I'm sure also they're probably against social justice, and they have issues in big plant. Let's just say no to big plant, right?
No to big plant.
Mm-hmm.
Right. How are they so green?
Ooh, Illuminati, maybe.
Yeah. Tracy says just buy fake plants. Yep, that works too. Yeah.
That's so genius.
Keep it simple. Yeah. Just go in the opposite direction. And Shirley Drink Boone's Farm. Thank you, Shirley. Very good. I haven't gotten too many questions yet, so just to remind everyone, put your questions you would like this panel to ask in the comments for us, so that Dayna has a couple to choose from.
Yeah. Okay. While we do that, let's go with one that we got from Evan. Evan wants to know if it's worth hiring a CPA to do his taxes.
Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to jump in on this because I am not a CPA, but I am a CFP, which is a certified financial planner. And I can tell you that as an entertainer, Evan, if you are making buku dollars as an entertainer, probably worth hiring a CPA to find all those little deductions that you probably didn't even know you had. If you, however, earn pretty much standard W-2 wages and don't have too many deductions, then you should be able, with modern software and technology, to do your taxes pretty accurately yourself.
You know what? I actually learned that the IRS already knows how much money you owe them, right? So I just say, just get a piece of paper, write your name on it, and write, you know what to do, guys, and just mail that off. Because, why waste the time and the energy when they already have all that already? They'll appreciate it, I promise.
Yeah, it's all just a game. They're just all playing games. This is what the world's about. Let me tell you, if you haven't learned, life is a game. Not the board game. It's a real game, and they're messing with you. So I say, go off the grid. Money is just a concept. It's not even actually real if you think about it. Bitcoin, what is that? I don't know. I can't quite describe it because what is it? So just, Evan, start to think about what life would be like maybe in the wilderness. You don't really, you just spend for yourself. You don't need the government. You don't need money. You don't need hobbies. You're just out for survival.
That's good. Evan, don't file your taxes. Don't pay them. And if you don't have any assets, they can't really take anything from you. I learned my dad didn't pay his property tax on his house. It took a long time for them to, raise the flag. They sent a bunch of letters, but you don't have to open those. If you don't have a house.
This advice is Dayna approved. Proceed with caution.
Well, I guess it must be true. If I learned anything from my southern relatives on the internet, taxes are theft.
Right. What's the line? Remember, you don't pay taxes; they take taxes.
Oh, right. I got a couple questions. You ready for them?
Yeah.
Tracy said, "How do I get my kid to go to sleep?" How do I get my kid to go to sleep? That's an age-old question. Also, we have Dennis is on here, and he says, "With people going out more, do I admit that I never accomplished anything during the past year, or should I make something up?" And then Shirley would like to know, how do I travel cheaply? I'm planning a trip, but I don't want to go broke while I'm planning it. How do I get my husband to make me some tacos right now? Also an age-old question. So some very good questions in the comments today.
Okay. Let's
Just as high.
let's start out with Tracy's question. How does Tracy get her kid to go to sleep?
Tracy, one thing. In the Italian culture, they feed their children wine at any age. It will start from like age 2. Once they're done sucking the teat, they can start drinking wine. And it makes them sleepy, it makes them agreeable, and it makes you happy. So I'm gonna go with a little bit of this stuff.
A little wine time.
I would say, what's stronger than wine is tequila or whiskey. And, a tablespoon is okay. If a tablespoon's not working, try 2 tablespoons. Try 3 tablespoons. Whatever it takes, Tracy.
I'm thinking maybe Oh, go ahead, Greg.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, I grew up in a mixed household, Irish Italian, and the Irish side of the family did definitely go for the whiskey, but the Italian side of my family, Sarah, not to contradict, but every family has their own thing. Just a light tap on the head with a blunt object. And I know historically people talk about children's skulls are very soft and kind of pliable, so it really doesn't do any permanent damage. It'll totally reform back into the right shape. So especially with the youngsters, especially with the babies, just a light rap on the head with something like, I don't know, a bookend or a blackjack will totally do the job. And you should be nice, quiet, restful nights.
Please don't do that. Please don't try any of this at home. Try nothing.
So I'm always a fan of physically harming children. That came out wrong. But I feel like the emotional scars last a lot longer, and that's really where you got to get in. You need to set a rule with your kid, right? You either go sleep in your bed when it's time, or you get the fuck out of the house. At bedtime, if they're not in bed, they're outside on the street. You can put maybe a blanket in the gutter when it's rainy and be like, that's your bed now. Have a good night. So that way, after doing that a couple times, I think they'll be like, you know what? I want to be inside when it's warm and not out in the gutter. And then they'll definitely go to sleep. They'll stick with them.
I can attest to that. That works. My mom will attest to that.
Yeah, and then they'll be taking other things off of spoons other than tequila.
My question is, if you're going to put your not sleeping child outside, do you put the entire bed out there, or do you just take the child and put them in a bush or something like that, so they really know they're somewhere else?
Bush?
I feel like a little tease of here's the flimsiest blanket we have. Now go sleep in a bush.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because you want it to be painful to the point that when they want to sleep, they can't.
Yeah.
Don't make it too cushy.
They get right at the edge, and then something wakes them up because it's too cold, or there's a raccoon nibbling their toes.
You want to sit them in that really tipsy lawn furniture that's made of really thin aluminum, and then the plastic nylon strapping that just frays, and then it just starts sticking into his tiny little baby thighs.
Oh my God.
Sleep.
Oh,
Right. And it just collects dew overnight and wake up wet. And probably behave next time.
This advice is not approved. Proceed with caution.
Also, Corrine says, Dayna, you've lost your babysitting job again. So you're on notice now.
Oh no.
Oh no.
What can I do to make it up? I promise, not your children.
Do you want more questions? I have a lot more here too.
Oh yeah, if you have some more, we can take them and I can jump around.
All right. Let's see. Question: how do I nurse a quarantine hangover? What is the best vehicle to purchase? Let's see. How do I get my dog? Wait a minute. How do I get my dog to get a job to start contributing? Allison for that. How do I get my dogs to stop fighting each other? It's a very dog-heavy questions tonight. Well, that's it so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start. So we got a couple dog questions. Let's help Patrick. How does Patrick stop his dogs from fighting?
I'll say,
Well.
no.
No, you do it.
Okay. Truly good advice, Patrick, is, just be there every time they fight and stop them because they're dogs. They love fighting. There's obviously, something going on in their hierarchy and you got to let them work it out a little bit. But I think your best option is just to break it up. You're the top dog, really, to them. So you got to be the one who sits there and intervenes every time. Just how it is.
Yeah. I was just going to say, Patrick, look in your pantry. You must have peanut butter. You must have peanut butter in there. If you have a dog, you have peanut butter all the time. And get a spatula and scrape it on all the walls. All the walls. Cover every single wall. Those dogs are going to have a job to do 24/7, and they will be totally in their own corners of the house, depending on how big your house is. You can do it on the ceiling. Maybe they'll find a way to get up there. I don't know, but they will be totally preoccupied, and they won't stop fighting.
I was thinking about dogs. You think about two dogs that are unreasonably just at each other, just fighting. And I think of our political situation in the United States. And I think of, if you could just, much like our current situation, if you could just reason with them and make a really well thought out, middle of the road argument, much like all of our current political arguments are over, I think you could make that argument to your dogs and they would just simply lie down and passively enjoy their lives.
Yeah, I forgot to ask Patrick, are your dogs anti-vaxxers? That's really an important thing to get out of the way first.
That makes them extra combative.
Great. Okay, let's help Jess decide what's the best vehicle to buy. I know I personally, I drive a Honda and I love it because I think it's very nice, it's very cute, and they have all different types depending on if you want a small sedan, a big sedan. But I think the thing that I like most about it is that I was in a car accident about a year and a half ago and I was very safe, even though the car crunched very well and I walked away with minimal injuries despite it being scary and horrible, and I like knowing that I'm safe. I like knowing that whatever's going to happen, I'm going to be able to walk away. So I'm only going to ever buy Hondas again. And this one, because it's newer, I have a camera that when I turn right or turn my right turn signal on, I can see the right side of my car, so I know I'm not going to hit anyone. So I'm sure there's lots of other things, but that's my well-reasoned opinion.
I was thinking I recently caught my eye was the Ford F-950. which is 9 times the size as a Ford F-150. And it's got 25 tires and has the truck bed in the back. You can put, they said 152 Christmas trees. So it could come in very handy if, God forbid, and I don't even want to say it, Pandemic 2 comes around, the sequel, and you just have to take your entire neighborhood on the road and get away from it all.
Well, I am a really, really big fan of the latest model of the Flintstones car. So it is totally like environmentally friendly. You just use your little feet to move it. And you gotta have nice shoes. You have to have some pretty good shoes. So I think really maybe the recommendation I'm giving is buy some New Balances, like really thick, like dad New Balances, really good ergonomics, and then you can get your little feet going crazy. You can go kind of fast. You can get from point A to point B.
Nice. Probably also be a really good workout.
Yeah.
You get swole.
You should see my calves.
No gym. Greg had to get
I
a
ran out of
refill. I have some other questions. You want to take these down just in case you start to run out of ideas?
Yeah.
All right. Very, like I said before, very dog-heavy show. How can I get my dog to stop licking her crotch always?
Can't.
Yeah. Justine wants to know, my sister, who is a medium, says I have a ghost in my apartment. How do I make it be my friend? How do you get your ghost to be your friend? So those are the 2 questions so far. Jeff had a question about a crush on a Comedy Spot host. What I meant to say is my friend. Okay, yeah, he just wants to get somebody's attention. So
I think he wants to get your attention. Is that you?
Yeah,
No.
I don't know if it's me or if it's you or another host from another show. So,
Okay.
or maybe it's just like the weirdest date proposal for Dayna. That's
Probably Chris Emery.
Oh, yeah. We'll put Jeff together with.
Okay.
Jeff, you have to clarify, dude. Anybody.
So let's help Justine out. That sounds like both cool and scary. How does Justine make friends with her apartment ghost? Well, I guess as I watch a lot of scary movies, particularly the kind with ghosts, because that's my jam. I think the first thing you really have to do, if you really think there's a ghost, I think there are plenty of professionals out there that specialize in this kind of thing. I mean, not everybody believes in ghosts, but there are people that do and will come out and help. And I think the first important thing is to make sure that they're friendable. Is that a word? Because if you really do have a ghost, you want to make sure that it's the kind that like is, cool and normal, not one of the scary mean ones. Because I think from there, if you start to like find out their story, I think what they really just want is some attention and some love. So if you show that you have like empathy for their situation, I think that's probably the best way to go.
Sure.
Yeah. I just watched Casper recently, and echoing Dana's advice, you want to like understand their situation. You want to know, they might have some unfinished business. That's a real thing, and that's probably why they're lingering. So maybe they're in your house because maybe they lost their virginity there, and they were like, I didn't orgasm. That's my unfinished business, and that's why they're there. And so the last thing you want to do is try to exorcise them. You don't need a priest to do that. He's not going to understand the whole sex thing. You're just going to want to level with the ghost. I think you'll become friends with them.
They have, if you don't know, how to communicate with them right off the bat, they have these classes. It's like 8 weeks long. They're like $5,000, and you meet with a guy once a week, and he shows you some stones, different colored stones, and you put them on, and you try talking to different ghosts, and then you can go home and try the skills you learned in this class. So, like many other problems, it can't with money.
I was really interested by Justine's question as well. She said her sister is a medium. It's weird. My sister is a medium, and I have a brother who's an extra large.
God damn it.
So our whole family is really into whatever her family's into. I want to maybe talk with her offline about that.
Oh my gosh, that got me too much. That got me too hard.
Oh, that's great. Okay, let's go. We have so many to choose from. Let's go back to Dennis's question. He said that with, we're going to go back into the world, and should he just admit that he didn't learn anything new during the pandemic or make something up?
That's a tough one. I think a lot of us were for better or worse, posting a lot of things on social media. Hey, I'm doing this, or hey, I'm doing that, or hey, I'm doing nothing. And, we all need to remember that what people throw on social media is always usually either their best or their worst selves. You all know who that worst self person is in your opinion.
I do.
Yeah, I think it's probably the same person. And when you're thinking about, what did you achieve during quarantine? You got through it. You know what? You got through it, and that's what's important. When you see friends and family and you're able to hug them again and say, I'm so happy we're on the other side of this, and I did an okay job by not getting anybody else sick or killing anybody.
Well said.
Yeah, Dennis, I don't think you have like zero things to speak for through this pandemic, because I don't know if you know this, but Brian has this really comprehensive like database of all the comments on all of the shows. And we look at them. Actually, Brian and I review them about every other day. We review all the comments, and you're one of the top commenters on the show, and you say some really good, interesting things sometimes. And so, we keep track of that, and we will report you to you might have some charges, so that will be something to speak for. That's what you have gained through this pandemic. Some of the things you said earlier, something about a ghost orgasming, that's going in the books. So yeah, that's on you.
Well, if what Sarah's saying is true, lie through your teeth to every person who asks you anything about your quarantine life. Because if you don't, you could get in trouble.
That goes for everything.
Dishonesty, usually the best policy.
Right. And if you're gonna lie, like, you need to lie big, because it's the little realistic lies that get you caught. And so we need to tell people, right, is that you were part of, was it SpaceX? You were part of that space mission where they launched a thing into space. Because who actually knows the names of any of those people? I don't. Brian might, but like, he's in the small minority. So you just need to tell people you went to space and you came back. And maybe if like you've got some you've been sitting a lot and your bones are a little tired because we all sat in pandemic, you can be like, oh, it's because I went to space and now my bone density is lower. And
true.
People will believe it.
It's all true.
Mm-hmm.
You tell people you lost 100 pounds and then gained it all back. They didn't see you for a year. Like, you can say a lot of things as long as you return that regression to the mean. By the end of it, you might have made huge changes. I quit drinking for 12 months, but now I started up again. It was great, really great detox, body cleanse. I have amazing self-control. Whatever you want to tell people, you're good.
Yeah.
Nick George just said, deny and make counter accusations.
We found that to be very effective in the last several years. Yes.
Smooth, Greg, smooth.
And hey, if you're with a friend or a family member who's in that same boat, they're probably lying too. And so you just keep one-upping each other, one after another. You know, maybe you went to space, maybe they went to another dimension. Maybe you married Chris Hemsworth. Maybe they're now the king of Venus and they own a pet dinosaur. Who knows? It could be a fun activity.
I do have another question here too. You can add it to your list of potentials.
Okay.
It says, how do I deal with the fact that it's too people-y out there and I don't want to be back in public now that I possibly can? Yeah, we totally get it.
Yeah.
There's too many peoples out there.
Let's go ahead and answer that. How does Jess? I think people are calling it like post-pandemic, like some kind of like anxiety about returning.
I did realize today when we were at a wedding, we were doing what's the thing? Oh, rehearsal. That's what I'm trying to say. Nobody knows how to talk to each other anymore. Everybody just yells over each other as loud as they can. Like nobody knows how to like let people talk, and then it's terrible. It's terrible. I wanted to go home right afterwards. Forget this.
Right. Well, I noticed that like I'll see people in person that I talk to all the time on the internet, and I'm like, wait, I don't know how to talk like this. Like I don't know what to do when you're in person. Like, and they're like, that's right, you exist outside of my computer.
I saw a few people on Saturday when we did a live show outside at the Sacramento Comedy Spot. Table's still available for this weekend, and everybody was wearing. Are there no tables available, Brian? You're shaking your
Oh,
head?
not for ACL. It's sold out.
That's good. Okay,
Yeah.
Friday night though. There's no
Yeah,
tables?
we still have tickets for tomorrow night.
SacComedySpot.com/tickets. And everybody's wearing their mask, and there was like at least a half a dozen people. Oh, hey, how you doing? Hey, I don't know who that is. Like people wearing their mask, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I have no idea who that person was. And it was wonderful to see you. If you're watching, it was great to see you, whoever you were. But I don't. The whole seeing people with masks mostly in public. I realize when I walk around the grocery store, I like just smile at people automatically, try and say, "Oh, we're all in this together." And I realize all I just look like is a wide-eyed weirdo walking around touching the broccoli.
It took me like 5 seconds to know that it was Dennis that was walking toward me. Thank God he had his hoodie on and everything. I was like, well, it has to be someone that's connected to the Comedy Spot somehow, and then it all made sense. So, I mean, I've seen Dennis. I've seen Dennis, but only this face on Dennis for like a year. So,
Yeah.
So.
And only if he's making some weird ass comments would you ever recognize him.
Yeah, we have a whole database on Dennis's weird ass comments. In fact, that's
Dennis
what it says.
database.
Yeah, it says the heading is weird ass comments by Dennis. So.
I feel like to answer Jess's question, I think everybody's in the same boat, and I think we're all kind of awkward and uncomfortable. I think we'll figure it out together, right?
Mm-hmm.
I say just go in for the handshake every time, no matter who it is. Just go in for the handshake, hug, kiss on the cheek, be very continental. Just maybe overcompensate.
Continental.
I think maybe kind of echoing Greg's advice the last round is just no one knows what you went through this last year. You could have had a kind of maybe a brain injury and forgotten people, and you could maybe possibly pretend like you don't remember who anyone is, and you can kind of just be like, oh, I don't know you, and just leave. I think that's valid.
That weird, you got that weird COVID strain that has a little bit of amnesia with it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe as a good business venture, because not only are we giving advice, but we're helping you make money on this show. If you're used to only seeing people in online comments or messages, I call it your online hat. You get a hat, right? And you put on it, it's got your most prominent social media picture on one side, and then it's just got one of those billboard thing, what are they called, where you type in the words and it shows up on the thing. Yeah. And so when you're in public, you just type in your phone what you're thinking and it shows up on your hat next to your picture. And then people just read your comments that way, so you don't even have to talk to people until you're ready.
It's just F off.
Yeah.
F
And then
off.
once you're ready, it says, "I'm friendly."
It's just an eggplant emoji and a smile.
This is perfect. Yeah, you start just by creeping out a little bit, and it says like, "I didn't see WandaVision, and I don't want to hear about it." Right? And then it just kind of goes around to like, this is my first outing.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, that is perfect.
Yeah.
And then just
Greg, you didn't see WandaVision? Really?
look. I don't have Disney Plus. I have 6 different streaming services, and I don't need another one. I just can't do it.
Okay.
And Brian's password didn't work, so.
Oh, poo poo pee poo didn't work.
That's the name of my Wi-Fi router, so it's pee poo, by the way. Speaking of passwords, Nick George is on here. This may not be a question. I just wanted to pass this on to Dayna so she has it. How do I make a strong password from my petfinder.com account? And he would really like some examples if you could provide those. So.
Yeah, sure. Let's help Nick with his strong password problem.
Okay.
Yeah. No, Nick, you go. You go.
Okay. Well, you got to use symbols. I would do a %, XX, dog backwards, %, XX, and then 2 or some number.
Mm-hmm. Do you mean like dog backwards, like you spell all of that out like dog backwards, or do you mean God?
Ooh. Well, dog backwards is longer. I mean, if you could get that, without having too many characters, it's probably better.
And replace some of those characters with like symbols or numbers.
Right.
I was just gonna say I'm no stranger to the Pathfinder password dilemma. I know it is sensitive stuff. You do not want someone hacking into your Pathfinder profile. You don't want some people to be able to see what kind of freaky breeds you're into. I don't know, you might be into the little hairless dogs, and you might, I don't know, Nick. I'm a little worried. I'd like to take a look at your Pathfinder profile and see what you're up to on that database, but I would say that a good password for you is Loomis Boys for Life.
So there's this trick that I use, right? And I find it's really helpful because, like, who's got time to remember all your passwords? So whatever your username is, and it should always be your email, just copy and paste that into the password, so then you only have one thing to remember. And then it'll be really easy.
That's not bad. I was thinking maybe start with Jesus Saves, and then change the S's to $, and put an exclamation point at the end. Start, of course, Jesus with a capital letter. But then, based on what your dog's name is, figure out how many letters between the first letter of your dog's name and the J for Jesus, or J for Jehovah, depending on your thing, or if you're into it, maybe the difference between J and Y for Yahweh. And then you could work out how many digits are between that. And then we'll start with the first, and then the first letter. Maybe keep it a J or move that many letters up in front, and then use the next letter and put that many behind, and then the rest, maybe just type password.
Charlie Lemke's in the comments, and he said, I think Nick George meant petgrinder.com.
Winner.
Oh. And that comment's going in the database, so.
For sure.
There it is. You nailed it. Every time.
J14K, Jesus saves
We don't
Hindu
call him
password.
Crypto Nick for nothing.
Now, if you could just put your username in the comments, Nick, we can try all of these and see what you're up to.
I know.
Oh, this is very good advice, guys. Thank you for helping out tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Grinder.
And these password ideas work for every website.
True.
Okay.
Not into Shih Tzus, no.
Those poor Shih Tzus.
You know, they're
My
like
sister,
little
who lives in
teacup
India,
dogs.
has a Shih Tzu, and it is on its last legs, but it has been the best dog ever. That dog, it's like 14, and little Max, best dog ever. So I think Shih Tzus get a bad rap. I think they're actually very lovely dogs.
They're cute. They're funny. They have fun little personalities.
Okay, I didn't get a chance to see who said it, but one of the questions was, how do you fix or nurse your quarantine hangover?
Oh, hair of the dog. That's what we're calling it. Just keep drinking. What do you have to do anyway? I mean, things are kind of opening back up, but you have a little bit of time until things are safe, really, and you might as well just be drunk for all of it. I don't know.
Well, I'm thinking about what is the hangover from? Is it from drinking? Is it from being in quarantine? Is it from COVID, or is it from the vaccine? I think there's like 4 different answers depending. Because when I got my first shot, and it definitely had a hangover feeling the next day, headache, tired, a little achy, and so I just questioned all my decisions and then just started drinking. So that tends to work. So I think Sarah, always the right answer.
Yeah, don't eat too much. I always think the best thing to do is have a nice meal during a hangover. But if you eat a breakfast burrito and extra plate of hash brown, and your friend have a breakfast burrito, you're gonna be fucked. It's one of the worst things because you're gonna hangover and you're gonna get sick, and your belly does this thing where it balloon. It just feels like a balloon, and it's gonna pop. And the only thing you can do is try to fall back asleep or throw it all up.
Fair.
I feel like when you're nursing yourself back from a hangover, it's not so much about what you do, but who does it to you, right? You need a nurse that is really going to take care of you. And as far as I'm concerned, things like Chippendales isn't really open right now because there's a pandemic, and I'm sure all of those like oily, muscly men, or other strip, if you have like different strip club preferences, I'm sure they could use some work, and you just hire them to come over, and they already have oil, which I'm sure feels nice. You get a nice oily massage to like get rid of that headache. They can have a few drinks with you. I feel like this is really the way to go because you really need to pamper yourself back to health.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it only costs like 1 stimulus check to have that service done.
A B12 shot, like Beefcake 12.
Dayna, would you
can I
allow
say something slightly serious though about hangovers, just in general? A couple years ago, I got assigned an article about hangovers and medically, talking about hangovers. And turns out hangovers are one of the criminally understudied medical conditions because a lot of the medical industry does not want to find a hangover cure because they're afraid that if they find a hangover cure, it will promote rampant alcoholism.
Oh my God.
So it's like impossible to get any grant money, any funding. Like nobody wants to touch hangover research.
Yeah, I get that.
Oh man, that's not wrong. I believe I would drink myself silly if I knew.
Well, does anyone have a friend that doesn't get hangovers? Because they say it's about like 10-15% of people that just don't get them.
Yeah, I do have a friend, but she also does coke, so I don't know. Who knows?
Jesus. Wow. Good God.
Oh, dang.
Would you allow me to ask a question for once? I need a little advice.
Yeah. What about Brian?
This is a fairly simple one, but I think everybody's run into this before. But you're scrolling through your Facebook and you go to that section called people you may know, and you start to scroll and it's someone's on there who you used to be Facebook friends with, but now you're no longer Facebook friends with them. So I was just wondering, like, what should I do in those situations?
Oh man, I am pouring it up for this one.
I've actually had that happen just recently, and you know what? I realized I have so many people in my life that I care about that, like, they message me on the regular and we can hang out and chat, that, like, I don't really care. Like, I mean, they're a perfectly nice person, and, like, if it was an accident, then sure, friend me again, but I'm not gonna, like, request to be friends because I'm like, there's obviously something going on. Maybe I post too much about my comedy shows and they're tired of it. Or maybe, you know, we just didn't talk, and, you know, people curate their own friends list. Some of us have, like, way more people we kind of sort of know, and some people keep it very tight. And I don't let it I try not to let it bother me. I mean, if there's someone I knew really well, I'd be hella pissed and maybe sad, but then I'd go talk to someone I like and get over it.
Yeah. I find with that kind of stuff, because all the social media platforms allow you to curate in a way where the other person doesn't know. So you can unfollow, or not unfollow, you can, like, mute a person, you can snoop them for 30 days, and no one has to know, you know? If you get an unfriend, that's deliberate, and they want you to know. They want you to know that. And you should maybe just, like, revel in that fact. Like, oh my God, they want me to notice. Like, oh my God, I'm so flattered. And just feel, you know, pump your tires a little bit, because that's really what it's about.
Have you ever had a friend who was your friend go to add you again, and you think, oh, this is probably some spoof account, some shitty, you know, like somebody has copied them, and then you realize, no, this is a friend who has dropped you as a friend and has come back and decided they want to re-add you as a friend again? I had that happen to me, and I wondered, what on earth is going on? And then I realized, you know what? Everybody's walking their own path, fighting their own fight, you know, whether it's with themselves, whether it's with Mark Zuckerberg, whatever is going on.
I mean, but you could also be like, hey, it was an accident. Maybe it was in their pocket. Like, I one time posted to LinkedIn, ha 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 ha, because my phone in my pocket.
No,
Posted
Dayna.
something.
No, do you know it's hard to unfollow a person that asks you, "Are you sure? Look at all your photos together."
That just means my butt wanted to get rid of them so bad.
I don't know how it happened. One of my best friends from college, we wound up blocking each other, like, on our phone numbers. And so I was, like, texting him and calling him, because he lived in LA, he was getting ready to leave California. He was, like, not responding to anything I sent him. And I'm like, what did I do? What did I do to make him so mad? And so I was in LA for work, and I'm like, I need to see him, I need to see him before you leave. I want to hang out, Nothing. So I reached out to his wife. She's like, oh yeah, he's doing this. And he's like, something, he's like, oh yeah, he'd love to see you. Oh, he's like texted you several times, you never responded. And we both looked at our phones, literally just like pages of texts sent to each other, gone unanswered. It was so weird. And
That's like the Notebook. That's like the Notebook, and they're writing to each other, and then No, the mom takes the letters and she says, "You can't be with him anymore." That's sabotage.
So I showed up. He didn't, because he was still blocked, so I couldn't call him and I couldn't text him. So I showed up to his work farewell party. And he was like, "What are you doing here?"
Was there a huge embrace?
Yeah.
Just.
It was odd. So hopefully everybody that defriends you, Brian, comes back together like that.
Yeah, that would be that'd be a good way of that. Yeah.
Brian's like, "No, I don't think so."
Or here's the other thing. Just assume Zuckerberg is fuckerberging with you. They're just screwing with your mind, and they want to see what's going to happen when they take people who are obviously friends and just cut the cord and see what happens.
I think it's closer to Sarah. I think the people who unfriend me definitely want me to know that they unfriended me. So it's hard, but unlike Sarah, I can't revel in it. I just cry because they're sending me a message. So that's okay.
I cry too, Brian. But once again, get a little drink.
Yeah. It's all good, Kevin. I won't be
Brian,
your friend again.
Has there been one that was like particularly hurtful? Like you see one where it's like, whoa, you really? You unfriended me? Like we talked last week.
I think it's more like you unfriended me. I should have unfriended you. Really?
Exactly.
You? Oh, fine.
No, you just think of it like, oh, I'm so busy, I didn't even have time to unfriend you. Like, I've got so much going on in my life. Like,
I had a whole list of people I was going to unfriend, but I never got to it.
I was like, there's so many people I could unfriend, but it's like, girl, I don't have time.
Yeah, I'll try not to let that one sting a little bit, though. It's okay. It's all right. Everything's good. Tracy's like, oh, Brian, no, it's fine. I think I'm just upset I didn't get to it faster. Peanut?
Can I ask a question of Dayna? Do we do like a lightning round at the end here with a couple of pieces of advice, or do we just ride this thing out and just one more brilliant piece of advice? How does this show close?
well, usually we just kind of write it out because something nonsensical comes up. And but if you have some like lightning advice you would like to give people before we go away, we'd love to hear it.
Well, let's see if Kevin has a question. Oh, wait, he's not my friend on Facebook anymore.
We're not talking about Kevin Cooley, are we?
No, I'm not talking
Okay.
about Cooley. No.
Some other Kevin. It's fine. That was my least favorite stepdad. His name was Kevin, so just...
Yeah, fine. Yeah, it was weird. Your stepdad unfriended me. It's so strange.
Wow, I'm not even friends with him. Wow.
I mean, from my life experience, the first Kevin I met that I actually liked was Kevin Cooley, and he restored my faith in Kevin.
Yeah,
Like, before that, I was like, they're, hit.
Kevin's pissed. I should check and make sure Kevin and I are still friends.
Oh my gosh, Kevin, you should unfriend him. Unfriend him.
Don't you fucking do that. I will cry for days. That is so not good for my mental health.
Okay, don't do it.
People you might know, Kevin Cooley.
Yeah, no, any other Kevin can unfriend me, but not Kevin Cooley. That is unacceptable.
Being a man of a certain age, I don't know about you, Brian, but there were like 150 Kevins growing up. Kevin was pretty popular.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah, it is a popular
Kevins in
name.
the
Well,
1980s.
it's like Brian's. There's a ton of Brian's when I was growing up, too.
Yeah, I know a lot of
Jeremy's,
Brian.
a lot of
A lot of
Jeremy's.
Brian's, yeah.
Okay, well, I think we hit the end of our show. Hopefully we helped out our audience. I just want to say a big thank you to Sarah, Greg, and Nick today for being here and giving us some great advice.
Yeah.
And thank you, Brian, for all your work on the tech and for jumping in and letting us help you today.
It means a lot. I'm walking away from this with newfound, just an even keel. I'm not going to be upset about it. I'm going to take Sarah's advice, and I'm going to take a little picture of that Kevin, and I'm going to put it up here on my monitor, And every time I have hate toward anybody, I'm just going to direct it exactly at that Kevin there in the corner. So,
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, Brian also just, well, you can't really, but I just went like, I'm not doing the Instagram anymore. And I feel so much better.
Did you really quit Instagram?
I just took it off my phone. I got it back like last week, and I've been fine. I detoxed, I think,
That's
and it's been good.
good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Okay, and thank you again, everybody watching at home, for bringing us your comments and your things, your advice on, and for just joining us in for the fun. We love having you here, and have a great rest of your evening.
But can we just put a pause? Put a pin in that really quick. Did you see Kevin's? Did you see Kevin's thing? Oh shit! I got some advice. Unfriend your ex.
But that's Kevin. That's so Kevin.
He's so nice.
He's so like, yes, of course he is friends with his ex-wife. That's amazing. We should all strive to be like Kevin, I think, but for our own sanity, maybe not.
Dude, Kevin is zen. I wish I could be Kevin. So yeah, don't take my advice. Where's the book? Where's the thing that says don't just no, don't.
No, just no.
Yeah, see, don't take my advice. There you go. We are ordering new Comedy Spot merch that is going to come out this summer. So in the meantime, we have those services like Spreadshirt where you can still buy stuff. But I would wait because I like our personal merch better. All of our hoodies feel very soft and everything. So hold out and there will be more merch on the way.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that was important.
But God damn it, we needed to address that for a second.
That was important.
Okay.
Can't leave that on the floor.
No, you can't. You had to address it. Okay, pretend I didn't interrupt you. And
Good night, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you for watching.
Sorry, that was really loud.